Hello and welcome back to the Sweet and Spicy Podcast. My name is Kate.
My name is Hesley, and Kate has to stop making me laugh when she presses the record button.
What did I do?
I don't know. It was weird. Anyway.
What did I do? I just said ready, steady, and button, go. I don't understand how that made you laugh.
Anyway.
I do that a lot.
It's like too early, even though it's not that early.
It's not.
I know.
It's the afternoon.
It was not afternoon. Afternoon is after noon o'clock. It is not noon o'clock yet.
It's almost afternoon.
It is not close enough.
It is snack time.
Today, squeeze me. Marriage is what brings us together today. This story is called
Okay, warning, guys. Evidently, today is a very high ADHD day. We are recording on a weekend, so we don't have work prior to this.
The doctor doesn't recommend that I take the medication every day, so I don't take it on weekends. So the ADHD just runs rampant on the weekend. Leashed by the job on
Fun,
Monday.
isn't it?
Anyway. The story is called The Unwilling Bride by Steele, which the title implies that she's unwilling, when in reality, she be willing. But we'll get there. I saw an ad for this. Facebook algorithm has got me in a chokehold, but it's actually providing me books on Kindle and not just apps I have to pay $1 million for. So at least there's that. She has lots of books, lots of different series. There's like a big billionaire series. This is the first in the Hamilton Brothers series. And in the book, it says, for the good girls who love being praised with, you're doing so well. And that's it. Just like that. And hold on, this is for you. That be the dedication.
Hold up, I think I've read this.
I mean, there's a few books that have this dedication.
Years ago. No,
I
but I think like the name of name of it.
I don't think it's been out that long.
Sounds familiar.
Well, she has a lot of books similar to it.
Maybe it's different.
So it's by Steele. Trigger warnings include military related PTSD, major anxiety, orphaned, helping out struggling single mom sister with her kid, and the generalized anxieties of being a young adult in today's world, which is honestly quite complicated and terrifying. So there's that. But the biggest triggers are, of course, the PTSD, the anxiety struggles, and reading about a character who's, doesn't have parents anymore. Dead Dad's Club. Sucks. Our main characters are James and Harper. And what I love about this story, it opens with Harper is showing up for an interview at a Michelin star restaurant. It's called The Edge. It's one of London's most celebrated restaurants. James Hamilton is the owner of it. James Hamilton is also her best friend's brother. Tropey trope. You're welcome. I don't think any of my best friends ever had a brother, so I don't really know what that's like. And then I had a brother, but he's younger than me and my best friends, and no.
I had the older brother. Still, none of my friends liked him because my brother kind of sucks, but Hi, brother. You know this. He doesn't listen. He doesn't even know I do this, so.
Does he even know this exists? I don't even remember if my brother knows.
Okay. By the way, just to preface, I think I read a different book of hers.
As a from the
I think I read The
impression
Unwanted Bride, not
from
The
the
Unwilling Bride.
yeah, from the impression I got, she has lots of series, similar series, which on her website it shows those. She has
Girl, you have turned into a ghost.
she has a ton of books, contemporary, paranormal
You
romance. The screen was white. It was very bright. Wow.
turned into. You literally went. Yeah, you were the baby from Teletubbies. Teletubby.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Anyway,
Your white is showing.
the caucasity. Uh Alina Jacobs is the other author I've read that has like multitudes of series, and they're similar because they're those like
Yeah.
they're romances that you read because you love it and it's easy, but they're still good. That doesn't knock anything about
If
them
I
for sure.
remember, if I remember correctly, all of the L Steele ones are actually interconnected technically too.
Yes,
Like across the
I
series too.
yes, the
All
Hamiltons
of the
here.
series are interconnected.
Yeah, because this one is
The
about
Hamiltons, the Davenports, I
yeah, the
think is the one that I read. Those are all
Hamiltons.
like weirdly interconnected.
Yes, and those are all the billionaire's fake wife, and that is because the head of their
Yeah,
so basically, we're getting ahead of where I was at. But basically in that
I'm sorry.
series, the father whoever the head of their family basically tells them you can't get your money unless you're married. So they all come up with schemes to get
Yeah,
married and then naturally fall in love with their person. So in this book, James Hamilton's grandmother decides, I'm taking a page out of my friend, Davenport's book. Y'all can't have your trust fund until you're married. So she threatens all of her Hamilton children, which is like 5 grandsons and 1 son who is still managed to not be married. So that's what's happening here.
yeah,
But when we first start, Harper's walking into the kitchen of James Hamilton, former Royal Marine, now head chef of the Edge, one of the hottest restaurants in London. She herself is a chef. I actually really like this story from the way it like goes. So she gets there. She was invited to interview. She was really nervous about it because she knew James. It's her best friend's brother. Her best friend's name is Fee. She has 2 other friends, Grace and Zoe. Um, and she hasn't seen James in forever because she had, been here, there, and everywhere and going to school and stuff. So she walks into his kitchen. She's very nervous and she starts thinking about the last time they saw each other. She was at a club celebrating with her friend, and friend's brother came and they proceeded to have a magical evening. Now, as a very, very, very like horrific white girl romance at heart, because my Pisces lives where my Venus is in Pisces, I am a sap of the highest degree. So, like, those of you who sat with me may understand, and those of you who don't, do not judge the rest of us. This is a judgment free zone. They had a magical evening. You know, where you like talk to somebody and you just connect and it feels like time doesn't exist and it's magical. Every girl dreams of this when they're watching all their little movies when they're a teenager. That's how their night went. They met at the club. They couldn't stop hanging out. He took her to all his favorite spots in London. She told him about her dreams, how she was in culinary school. And then they had a kiss just as the sun was rising over the river before he dropped her home. And then she never saw him again. The horror, the despair, the angsty romance of it all.
oof. So she's mad,
She's not
obviously.
mad. She's not mad because she knew she wasn't going to see him because he was joining the Royal Marines. He was going into the service. Um, and then when he came out, he actually went to culinary school, became a chef, and he's like risen faster than she has despite starting after her. Um, but she's had to go
He's a
slowly.
man, so
True. He's also a billionaire, so he was able to kind of start his own
yeah.
restaurant. Um, though it's not technically his. There is like a board of directors and it still comes from like the family's managed money and stuff. So he still has to work for it. even though he did have
Yeah.
the help. And he's earned
He
his
had the
Michelin's
capital.
he's earned his Michelin stars all on his own merit. He's very good at it. Part of the reason he's very good at it is because his time in the military has given him some serious OCD related anxiety. It mentions in the book he does certain things 3 times, like it's a rule. If he taps his hand, he taps 3 times. If he's cleaning his cutting board, he wipes it 3 times. It has to be three. So those are like fun little twitches you notice. So anywho, she hasn't really seen him. She knew he had a restaurant and stuff, but she hadn't really connected. And she was hoping that that didn't make this whole job interview very awkward. She was interviewing for chef de it's spelled like party with a IE, but I'm sure there is a proper name for it that I don't know because I'm not that. While I am a good cook, I am not a culinary trained chef, so I don't know. Anywho, she's freaking out in her head a little bit, like, oh my God, what if this is awkward? Um, but here's the thing. In those years, she's never been with anybody else. She's never wanted anybody else because she's still hung up on their like beautiful little romantic night. It's so precious.
She's
Uh,
like, I just know it. I just know it.
so like I think there was like maybe like a fling here and there, but nothing serious. And fun part, there wasn't on his side either, but we learned that later. Um, she walks in, some chefs are starting to fight. James grabs both of them, fires them on the spot, looks at her for her interview, says, congratulations, you're my new sous chef. So she got hired for a position higher than what she was actually coming in for. And she's just like, what? Immediately tosses her in because it's like the lunch rush. Like they're starting to serve and are getting prepped for dinner. And they're like, let's go. There's like no conversations to be had. So she's like, okay. So she
Which I
starts,
feel like you do. I feel like you don't do that though, because this person doesn't know any of your dishes. Doesn't know how you
well,
cook them. Because even like a simple dish
she studied the
gets cooked
menu.
different
It
across
meant
multiple
she,
restaurants.
yeah, but she mentioned studying the menu and stuff. Like, this is, this is where your training comes in. You can either do what they have you do or you can't. So,
Yeah.
um, so she's telling him about her degrees and all that. And he's like, you're hired, what, blah, blah, blah. He is inside going, it's her, it's her. Oh my God. He's like fangirling inside himself, which is hilarious because he's like big, tall, beefy military guy who's also a chef. She talks about his arms frequently. Um, which valid, especially when cooking. Like there's nothing I mean, it's probably again the competency kink problem, but like I came home, my husband was washing dishes the other day, like just casually leaning against the sink, drying a dish. And he's like, hey, how was your day? And I just looked at him and I was like, I'd hit that like right now because he was washing dishes. It's a problem. And it's not like he doesn't do it all the time. It's just sometimes it's so visually striking with what you come home to, especially when you hear about
The
what
light
everyone
comes
else
into
puts
the
up with.
kitchen window a certain. Oh
I mean,
yeah.
he is
Girl,
in
I
front
was
of the
watching
kitchen
something.
window with the lights. Like, so it was like a magical moment. And he's just casually drying a dish and he's like, hey, how was your day? How was your meeting? And I'm just like, damn.
I read I was I was scrolling on Threads yesterday because I get stuck in the Threads rabbit hole. And I've been a part of many Threads lore at this point. But the the specific one that I was looking at was this woman was like, "Oh my God, how many of your husbands like why do husbands hate stopping on road trips for bathroom breaks? My husband will make me wait like 6 hours. I'm like holding my pee almost to crying." And I'm like, "Girl, your
That's a
husband doesn't like
problem.
you."
No, your
And then it
husband's a
was like a
jerk.
response. It was the one that I got was actually a response post to that, and she's like, um, my husband stops for me anytime that I ask. My husband stops for me if I need to use the bathroom.
He might complain
Like,
about it,
also, he
especially if we
asks.
stopped like 30 minutes ago, but he gonna stop anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like, They're gonna stop. It's like, "Man, I just started driving again," this and that, like, because I understand, like, you stopped 30 minutes ago, that after that 30 minutes, you're finally in that, like, zen of driving again.
Mhm.
Because, like, after you get through that first 30 minutes, then you're like, "Alright, I'm kinda zen, just zoning out." All of our European people are probably like, "Y'all drive for that long?" Yes. Uh, it sucks, and guess what? We're still in the same state. Uh,
You could drive a whole 8-hour
but
working
no.
shift and not be out of the state,
Yeah.
especially if you go the one direction.
It's yeah. And, sorry, I'm tired. Uh, have to yawn. But yeah, it was like everybody in the comments of this post was like, their husbands don't like them. Because the girl in the original post that it was talking about also was like, my best friend's husband does it too. And it's like, that's not normal.
Well, it
You should
probably is
probably
normal,
get
but it's not
somebody.
okay.
That's fair. It probably is normal. And it's not okay. It's like, what are you doing? That's the type of man that I think probably also doesn't actually take care of you when you're sick, but expects you to take care of them hand and foot when they're sick.
Mhm, mhm. Fair.
And it's like my husband takes care of me when I'm sick, I take care of him when he's sick. That's how it works. If I want soup, he's going to try his best to go grab a can cuz he can't cook. When my husband is sick because I can cook, I'll make him specific like a specific cuz dish that makes him feel better because it's what he had growing up when he was sick. So I'll make him that. But I'll make it an easy, simple way because I don't want to cook like a big pot of soup. but it's because I can cook. He cannot. He's learning. That's the thing though. He's learning because he knows that cooking is a lot for me sometimes. He's making the effort to learn. It's like, I don't know. I'm getting on a tangent here. If your husband doesn't want to put in the effort for anything, and you put in tenfold effort, maybe you should stop putting in tenfold effort. I'm petty though, so
Perhaps you should speak to a licensed counselor, etc. Like, sweet and spicy podcast, except no liability here. We are not doctors or marital
that's true.
experts. I'm just gonna throw that
I
out
am
there.
not at all.
However, we are girls, and if that man is trash, then let him go. Anywho,
Take him out with it.
uh, I don't even know where I was in the story.
Sorry.
Anywho, hired her, puts her on the spot immediately.
Yes.
Let's go. He has her make a sauce like 3 different ways because he's like, I need to see consistency, not just that you got it right the first time. And she's like very
Yeah.
good. She's good at what she does. She's thorough, but it's very frustrating because he's like 3 times, or he's like, and then so like she's there. It's been like 2 weeks, and he's like, do it again, do it again. She argues with him. She actually stands up to him. Nobody else does. They call him the Iceman. Nobody, and he has a whole thing where he explains that the only way to get through the day and control things is to shut down emotions because they're a mess. Which, I mean, heard my brother, like, shutting down emotions because you ain't got time for that nonsense. I wish that I was successful at that. I used to be very
You and your
successful at
Aries
that.
heart could never.
I used to be successful. And then I went to therapy and learned that feelings are valid even if they're not rational, and I kind of still hate it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Um so he gets to
Just listen, I'm
successfully
gonna just stop here for a second and then we're gonna go on and then we're gonna keep moving.
he gets to lock down his emotions. I do not. But let's face it, he doesn't get to lock them down for long. So he's all like, he is like just delighted that she's here, and he loves how fiery she gets. He calls her an ember because that's what she is. She's a spark. Because you find out the whole reason he became a chef was because of her. Her passion about that night, talking about going to culinary school and being what she wanted to do. He was fascinated by that, and then he tested it and realized he liked the way I said, he's like, number one, he was good at it, but also like the control with it, like you control the temperature, you control the ingredients, you know. Um, so it gave him that level of what he needed to deal with his stuff and made him feel close to her. And spoiler alert, he was always looking for her. And when he found out she was
Aw.
he finally had a position, he like dangled the ad out there to find her so that she would apply. And when he got her application, he was stoked, and that was the only person he planned on interviewing because that was all he wanted.
No.
But do they tell each other this? No,
Never.
it's never communication. I've actually been reading a different book with my husband last night, and he got so mad at a part, and he's like, "Why did she not just say something?" I said, "Well, she's traumatized, so it's hard." And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. She didn't say anything." I said, "Okay, but he didn't ask either." And he's like, "Fine, maybe they're both in the wrong, but communication." And I'm just like, "Yes."
Your husband is the biggest proponent of communication through our books, and it's hilarious because I'm trying to find a book for him to read because it's an idea of ours to have Justin run an episode. Y'all have met Justin before. We think it'd be hilarious. It'd be like a specialty episode. We haven't gotten him to do it yet, guys. I'm sorry. But I think it would be really fun if he ran an episode, but the issue is we would have to proofread one of the books first to make sure that one, he's gonna like it and stick with it, and two, that it's got communication, or else he's gonna get mad at it and just stop reading it.
So mad, but it's funny, which it is infuriating because he's all like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And I'm just like, don't talk to me. Sometimes I want to fight, and you can't fight someone who communicates with you. Like, what kind of messed up thing is that? Um,
I mean, you can, but you're just gonna be wrong because they're gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't realize you felt that way. Okay, well let's talk about that." And you're like, "No, I just need to be angry."
like I don't want to talk. I want to yell. But I digress.
Which is not healthy.
I like yelling.
100% not healthy. Don't do that, but
I have a temper. Sometimes it just needs to
you
be
know,
released. Doesn't mean anything. I just need to get the energy out. That's all.
we're gonna have a long episode this time.
I mean, not necessarily.
Okay.
So James goes for his regular poker night with like his one of his brothers, cousins, uncles, like whole little group together. They're all discussing everything. Um, he tells them about that, and he's like, "I've been summoned by grandmother," and da da da. And well, then that's when grandmother drops her bomb about get married or no trust fund for you. So they're all like commiserating, and they're like, "What the heck?" And she's lost her mind, and I'm not doing this. Meanwhile, James is like, "I need to figure this out." Then on top of that, the sous chef who he fired, who was fighting with the other guy, was pissed. He leaked that uh the marriage um so sorry, my brain just skidded or the details. So James proposes to Harper that they get married. He gets his restaurant, he'll help her out, blah blah blah. She'll get like money in her account. She does it because she lives with her sister and her niece. Her sister is a single mom raising her niece. Her niece is like artsy but like a little socially different, so she's trying to get her into this cool art school where like she'll be with surrounded by other cool kids and not made fun of. And so she decides, you know what, I'll do it, even though she's really truly secretly like still in love with the dude, and he's still in love with her. They
Yeah.
both think they're entering a marriage of convenience. She has to move in with him. They have a wedding. She even has like a little girls' night with his sister and stuff. And like they talk about when they met. And then him and his friends come to pick them up when they're super drunk. And everyone thinks it's so romantic and adorable a little bit. Like her friends are kind of like, what? But then they're like, oh, that's beautiful. It's like, you've never met him before. And then she tells them about the magical night. And now everyone is like, ah, it's a fairy tale. Except her and him know it feels like a fairy tale but they think the other doesn't like the other. So they spend the whole
Of
first like
course.
part of their marriage thinking the other doesn't really care about them that much. Um but like they develop a routine. They come home, he gets her a glass of wine, they relax after the restaurant, and then they watch a movie or whatever. Like they literally develop this whole thing, but he's still like they're close, but they're not too close.
So
There's
they're
a
in a relationship, but they're not in a relationship.
and there's not really any spice. There's tension out the wazoo, especially when he kissed her for the wedding. And then he kind of like, she got in his face at work one time and it was a little spicy feeling, but it didn't go anywhere. So one night though,
So maybe you've answered this before and I got distracted on something else. But so obviously they're married, right?
yes, they're married. It takes up big
Right.
news and all this other stuff. But then the chef who was fired, he reports it and says it's fake and trashes it on social media to mess with their like reservations and everything. And she's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? He knows, everyone knows. And he's like, they know nothing. So they keep it locked down. He tells them to retract it, pays him off, all this other stuff,
Mhm.
says it's absolutely not true, talks about how they met before. Everything is like hunky dory, but there's so much tension. And she's like trying to be open to different things about getting close with him and hot and heavy. And he's still like, one day he's like, the one of the first days he's like, you want to go with me? He goes and he free dives, this man, to control his anxiety rather than just going to therapy. This military man goes and free dives and sits at the bottom of like 20-30 feet of pool water so his brain is quiet for like 5 minutes before he surfaces. And he takes her with him and she's like, oh my God, is he going to drown? What is happening? Like he's letting her into his world a little bit by showing her this, but she's also like, oh my gosh. Of course, then he gets to see her in swimwear and vice versa. And it's a little touchy feely in the water, but not quite all the way because it's still like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this.
Y'all are
She
married. I don't think it matters.
she meets his grandmother and feels like she's like being judged by her, but she also like, you know, kind of sees through his grandmother and realizes she's just lonely and wants to be around her family. But because his grandmother's badass, she took over the company when grandpa died and she rules it with an iron fist. Um, so she's boss babe. And like
Boss lady.
she doesn't let them call her grandmother. She has like a nickname and she wears like her fancy suits and her jewelry and stuff. She's very uh glamorous older lady, but she kind of
As
sees
she
through
should
her
be.
and realizes she's lonely. She wants y'all to get married and have grandkids and come around more. Um, so everyone's kind of like thinks they're like madly in love and they're both sitting here thinking the other hates each other, which is just like, come on, what are you doing? Drives you crazy.
It's
So
like you obviously hate me. It's like, no, no, they don't.
at one point he does have like an ex show up and she gets very like upset and awkward and jealous and like um he's like explaining, he's like, that was never a thing. He said she just, she showed up. That was never a thing. I'm not, no, it's never her. And what you also learn, she has very long hair and so she has a lot of hair ties and it's always, but she's like, I'm constantly losing hair ties. Man has a drawer in his house full of her hair ties, including the one he wears around his wrist, which is from that night they talked all night and had their like magical evening. Him's
Aw.
obsessed.
He's like, I just holding on so tightly.
Like it literally talks about him opening his drawer of hair ties, and she's always like, dang it, I've lost another hair tie because he's just constantly jacking them. It's adorable in like the weirdest way of, oh
That
my
is
God, will you two
adorable.
just talk to each other? They finally
Oh
start to
my god,
get
I hate
they finally
the
start to get
miscommunication trope just gets me.
they finally get spicy though. She wakes up one night and she hears him having a bit of an episode in his room. He's having a nightmare from his PTSD. She tries to wake him up. He ends up like putting his hand around her throat for a second before he realizes who she is. Now, this should be terrifying, ex-military man having the PTSD hand around your throat. However, homegirl a little bit like, oh, that was nice. Like,
Girl said, you know, in other circumstances, this would be really nice.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be opposed
So,
to this in different circumstances.
um, so then she like he convinces her to stay with him for a little bit. He falls back asleep, actually sleeps the night, rest of the night, no dreams, realizes it's because of her. She helps anchor him to reality and everything. So, um, they're dealing with all of this and they're getting closer and they finally have started having spicy times and is like some pretty good spicy, especially because she's all like, I want you to be a dominant daddy with me and choke me out. She doesn't say those exact words because she doesn't quite know what she's saying because she is a virgin, so that it is kind of like really. But it's like she's like,
Okay.
I like the hand around my throat, but I also like when you tell me what to do. And he's like, you know, about it. So anywho, it's
Yeah.
pretty good on the spice. I would say it's definitely a 2.5, maybe a 3. Um, and there's lots of spicy scenes about that. But then of course there has to be drama. And there is some drama that happens and she leaves and he's devastated. And she like realizes she's got to make a name for herself without relying on him because he told her he was opening another location and she could be the chef there and stuff, but she's like, I will never have what I've earned if it's all under him. So she starts like
Yeah.
researching her own place to open her own restaurant and all this other stuff, and they're like living apart, but he starts going to actual therapy, not just diving under the water. um and she was actually out one day and she was sitting on the bench where they had had their kiss, just staring out, and he was on a jog and like came up and they like started talking and they like finally like connect properly and confess how in love they are with each other, but she still wants her separate restaurant. And it's just precious. It's a happily ever after, and there's no cheating, and like there's drama, but there's not major scandal, and it's just really cute. And if you're like me and all about the they had a magical evening together and they never forgot each other, like chef's kiss, literally chef's kiss.
Right person, wrong time did.
It was just beautiful. I loved it. I won't lie. I loved it. I'm a sap for stuff like that. Um, plus it also talks about like
They could
anxiety and
call,
the different things, and I'm like, yeah, relatable.
I don't think that counts as second chance, but maybe
Yeah,
it's a subgenre in the second chance genre.
probably.
I'm not
It
sure because
I
second
mean,
chance I've always associated with like they did date and then they came back to it. Girl,
it's like uh
your Teletubby son again.
nice.
Because, like I said, the second chance I've always thought was they dated once, then it just didn't work
Yeah,
out for various reasons. Usually it's miscommunication, and then they come
usually
back together
something.
again.
But they do call it second chance. And it's like, I mean, it gives it a lot of tropes. Marriage of convenience, best friend's brother, second chance, workplace romance, hate to love, boss employee, grumpy sunshine, neurodivergent former Marine male character, curvy female character, my wife energy, because he does say that a lot. Possessive,
Yeah.
emotionally wounded, found family, close proximity, blur blur blur. Um, so like, it's definitely considered second chance, but it is more like a missed connection second chance. I would concur with that because it's not like they actually dated and broke up. They just had a magical evening and he took her hair tie and dropped her home and joined the Marines. And now he's back and he's a buff kitchen daddy. It talks about like him cooking at
That's
home with
funny.
her, and it's like, so much more intimate because he cooks, everywhere, but this is him cooking for
Interment?
her. Intimate. See, this is a little picture that comes in
I
the
was
book.
confused. I was like, what's interment?
That comes in the book.
I your thing is too bright. You have to turn down your brightness.
No, it's too dark. Nope, no, it's too
I
dark.
just can't see it because you're blurry too right now.
Oh.
You'll have to
Anywho,
send it to me.
it has like a cute little picture and then a family tree because at the end it's coming because there's James Hamilton, Gideon Hamilton, Beckett Hamilton, Rowan Hamilton, Lachlan Hamilton, and then Lyra Hamilton. And Lyra is married to Phoenix, who is uh from Connor Davenport. Or sorry, Connor Davenport is married to Phoenix. Um, and that's how they're connected to the Hamiltons and the Davenports from the other story. These are all children of Alaric
Interesting.
Hamilton and Lana Jones because his parents are dead too. I forgot about that.
Oh,
And
that's
then
sad.
there's Tristan Hamilton, which is the uncle, which the next story is actually the uncle. Because it talks about like it does a little uh preview there, and he's like chasing this woman
Little
down trying to
pre-setup.
find her, even though he's like an older bachelor in his 40s. And that one's going to be kind of interesting because he's chasing his dead partner's daughter. So because like the dead partner screwed him over somehow and he thinks the daughter is the way to figure out what happened, but there's like some spice between it. So books by L.
Interesting, interesting.
Steele. She has a bunch. So if you're into that, billionaires. She also has mafia books. Those are all in her contemporary section. She also has paranormal romance, which I'm kind of like, they're about the Fae. So love a good book about the Fae. But I would definitely read it if you were into that. I think it was a solid read. Um, it was quite romantical and then also a bit spicy. And just another one to add to the list of book boyfriends. Because, he's going to
Just
rock
another
your
fun
world
one.
and then also make you an omelet. So he will scramble your eggs
Okay,
and
guys.
fertilize them.
Oh my god.
You're welcome. I had an omelet for breakfast.
Anyway,
I made it myself, though.
did you? I had a bagel.
It was delicious.
I ate a bagel.
That's kind of boring,
But
but can be delicious.
it had butter and cream cheese. It was a Costco bagel. It was like a Costco bakery bagel. It wasn't like a pre-made bagel. Let me enjoy my bagels, woman. Anyway, anyway,
Follow
if you
us.
want to watch more, if you want to watch more of us, follow us. If you want to listen to more of us, again, follow us. There is a link down in the description to our link tree with all of our links to
Wherever
various
you may
different
find us.
things, wherever you may find us. Okay, guys. Bye.
Happy reading.